is up and running, John. But we're going to move on to our next topic, and it's all about Star Wars. We're coming in early today with Star Wars news, and
it's good news.
Well, for some, Star Wars movie announcements are more bad news for Rian Johnson's trilogy. Lucasfilm recently discussed new Star Wars movies, including Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, but it's more bad news for Rian Johnson's trilogy. Now, this is a lengthy article,
Little
John,
man who sold his soul.
and I really wanted to really just capture a bit of this article. It's all there in Screen Rant anyway. Anyone who wants to go and read it on that lovely website of theirs.
It's always there.
So I'm just going to, I'm going to just read this bit here.
That was subtle, Stephen.
Yeah, it was. I know, but you're getting it there as well.
Watched the video today.
Yeah, it's a good video.
Yeah.
If Johnson was part of Lucasfilm's immediate future, odds are he would have been highlighted during the investor call. Instead, the studio indicated they were moving in a different direction by spotlighting a pair of other filmmakers. With Rogue Squadron taking the 2023 date, it's likely Waititi's movie coming out in 2025. That release window hasn't been officially confirmed, but he does have to complete Marvel's Thor: Love and Thunder before jumping to the galaxy far, far away. There's still nothing about Johnson's trilogy, which was initially announced more than 3 years ago. It's true Johnson was busy with Knives Out in the interim, but a long time has passed without any concrete developments. Investor Day would have been the ideal venue to shed some light on the trilogy, and it was ignored entirely. That hasn't been an official announcement about Johnson's departure like there was when David Benioff and D.B. Wise left their Star Wars movies. It's just odd Lucasfilm chose not to mention him once at the event that was a showcase for an abundance of new Star Wars content. John, I think the reason, or one of the reasons, is because Rian Johnson's still vocal on social media about The Last Jedi and being butthurt about the criticism that film got. He's still going on about it to this day.
It surprises me, because the guy admitted that he'd rather have a movie that was divisive than a movie that was just beige.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, clearly that's not what he wants. He wants sort of widespread acclaim and sort of spontaneous applause for these little bull-headed sort of ideas for Star Wars. So, bit of a shit talker is Ryan.
Yeah, but which
is ironic.
I mean, what's your take on this, John? Because we have talked about this Rian Johnson situation in the past, and we have always said, as far back as maybe 6 months ago, that trilogy is dead in the water.
It's dead.
And
it's deader than dead.
I still maintain that. I don't know if you do, John, but
he's not going to get a Star Wars trilogy. Not a chance, Stephen. It would have been announced.
Investor Day would have been ideal.
They announced Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
They've announced TV shows as far as the eye can see for the next 4 years or so. No sign of Rian Johnson trilogy. The guy's trilogy is dead. It's finished, as they like to say down in the Ayrshire coast in Scotland. And I like to say it just to take the mick out of people from the Ayrshire coast, because Ayrshire people are the strangest people you'll ever meet in your life. Strange place. Even for Scotland standards, really strange. But it's finished, Stephen. Tangent aside about Ayrshire.
They do eat a galaxy far away.
Yeah, it's like it's like, if you thought that cantina in Ross Isley was strange, go down to Ayrshire. Wow. You'll see some sights in there that would make the cantina sort of patrons blush. But look, man, it's finished. He's not getting it, and I'm glad. I'll tell you why I'm glad, because he absolutely destroyed the sequel trilogy. And it's partly because of Kathleen Kennedy too. I say I'm glad, but look, I think it was just last night, maybe. I'm trying to losing the plot. What did I speak about Star Wars last night? I think I did.
Yeah, you talked about the new, or whatever, the High Republic.
Yeah, the High Republic. Yeah. I hinted. Well, I didn't hint. I commit flat out and came out and says it. He hinted, he hinted that if they did give him the trilogy, look, it's not get the 40 years of the monkey on the back, the mythology of the OG characters. It's not got all of that weight of expectation on it. So it may succeed, because this guy can create interesting stories, interesting movies. Knives Out was amazing, Stephen. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's another reason I think it's dead, because he's already making plans for a Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig spin-off, whodunit movie. He's struggling to write it though, by all accounts, and it's definitely not going to be called Knives Out 2, but he's already got plans in place for that franchise, so I can't see him having time to fit in Star Wars. Lucasfilm don't want him because he's too divisive. Half the fan base hate his guts, call him a little bald-headed, round-headed. He's not bald, he's got more hair than me. It's just that he's trying to cling on to it and I'm not. A little round-headed fool, and he calls them man babies, so it's too divisive, and they're trying to bring the fan base together. They're trying to sort of homogenise the franchise, and they're doing that with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and using acclaimed directors like Robert Rodriguez and some less acclaimed ones like Bryce Dallas Howard. They're doing it to bring that all together again. They're making fan sort of specialised content for the fans now. I think they finally realised that to make a success out of this acquisition that happened 6-7 years ago now, maybe longer, you need to appease your key demographics, and doing that is not bringing Rian Johnson in for a trilogy when half the fan base hates him. So I think it's dead. That's what I'm saying. A long-winded sort of reply. Yeah. It's dead. It's John, deader than dead.
I get depressed when I think about this sequel trilogy. I really do.
Yep.
I've never known a franchise with so many missed opportunities and blown it every time with every opportunity they had. The problem with the middle part is, and I still maintain it has some of the best scenes in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I was about to say Act 2. It wasn't Act 2. I hated
Luke
that whole
swinging across the chasm and drinking blue milk.
No, not that.
Out of the teeth of the big horrendous alien.
The big stick as well we put in the water.
Yeah.
No, rubbish. Just time wasting.
I tell you what though, Stephen, I'll say this for it. It did finally show us the more mundane side of Star Wars, because these guys don't do the toilet and stuff like that. They just zip around this galaxy.
Yeah.
We've got that in The Mandalorian too. He definitely has a toilet, so we know that he uses the toilet. So it kind of showed the more mundane element, and that's something I've always wanted to see, watching the likes of EastEnders growing up. These people never go to the toilet.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean? Suppose
they never watch the telly at 7:30 either.
Yeah.
Just in case they catch themselves. But the thing is, John,
oh.
Lucasfilm have got to hold themselves responsible for that whole mistake of giving Rian Johnson too much freedom to do what he wants in the middle of a trilogy. A Skywalker saga trilogy, if you like. I don't even regard this as a Skywalker saga, but
there's no Skywalkers in it apart from,
and then hanging him out to dry by announcing he's getting a trilogy. And I sometimes think that was an announcement out of spite, really. It was a response to the man babies.
Well, Stephen, they announced it before The Last Jedi came out, because we actually spoke about it a couple of weeks before.
Well, I'm talking
and I was excited. I was like, wow, this movie must be amazing. They're showing confidence in what they see.
When they announced J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson and Colin Trevorrow as the directors for that, I was excited. And I was most excited about Rian Johnson because of his previous work.
Yeah.
What I didn't think was that the studio were going to give him complete creative freedom in the middle of a story, especially a story that was left with a cliffhanger, a literal cliffhanger at the very end of The Force Awakens, introducing probably the biggest character. I don't care what anybody says. Luke Skywalker is the biggest character in Star Wars history.
Yes, Star Wars.
I don't care. It's not Anakin. It's not Darth Vader. It's Luke Skywalker.
Not Han Solo.
No, definitely not.
Nope.
Side character.
It's not C-3PO, even though Anthony Daniels would tell you otherwise.
And just the direction it was taken in. It doesn't surprise me, John. I don't think they want to embarrass Rian Johnson in a sense, but what they've done is with this, what was it called again that day? I can't remember what it was called.
Investors Day. Investors Call.
They have inadvertently embarrassed them by not announcing anything or speaking about it. After this big hullabaloo 3-4 years ago, when it was Rian Johnson's getting this trilogy and it's going to take it in a new direction, etc., etc., and then not talking about it, I think that's very unprofessional.
It is, but Stephen, that's Disney and Lucasfilm all over, and this whole handling of Star Wars since the acquisition. It's Kathleen Kennedy's presidency sort of tenure. In a nutshell, just so unprofessional. Hiring in filmmakers that don't marry with the tone and the vision you've got.
No.
He says David Beinoff and DB Wise, bring them in. They've got a certain comedic flair and they like to ad-lib and improvise in the filmmaking process. And then you're not happy 3-4 months into the shoot when they're doing the very thing that they're going to do. That's her all over. Yeah. A shambles, doesn't know what she's doing. She shouldn't have been the president of Lucasfilm. It's the one mistake. He made 2 mistakes, giving it to Disney in the first place and actually giving her the presidency of Lucasfilm. Yeah. She's not cut out for it. She's a good producer. Was it Frank Walsh? Frank Marshall. Yeah. Those two together, producing, fair enough, producing and actually running multiple projects and stuff like that. That's a different ballgame completely. She's not cut out for it.
No.
I don't know what the answer is, because I don't know if Favreau would do it. I know Feige's certainly not going to do it. He's got his eyes on the big prize, maybe Bob Chapek or Alan Horner's job in the long term, so he's not going to do it. But look, you're right, man, that trilogy was a shambles, and it was her mistake actually employing this guy to do it. But look, I criticised the multiple directors. Final thing I'll add, in this trilogy, how it was discombobulated due to the multiple directors. But we've seen it in the actual Mandalorian, that we've got different directors for every episode, but the one difference is common sort of vision, an overarching story. A process is there from Favreau, Filoni, whoever's involved. They've got they've already got the story mapped out.
Yeah.
The directors are just coming in, putting their own sort of fingertips onto their little stylistic flourishes.
Yep.
But it's actually maintaining that sort of path that's already been set out. Didn't happen in the sequel trilogy. Discombobulated, no story. Directors coming in and doing their own thing. Sort of discarding plot threads and all the rest of it. A shambles because of it. So hopefully they've learnt.
Well, I hope so, John, but they can't repair what they've already done. You know, I'm fine with it because I live with the first three episodes, 4, 5 and 6 we'll call them, for a good part of the chunk of my life anyway, because I'm old enough to have that instilled in me. For a sort of younger generation, probably yourself, John, maybe even younger, the introduction of Palpatine in episode 9, a lot will see that as having a negative effect on Return of the Jedi, you know, and the sort of climax to that. It doesn't bother me.
I forgot about it already.
Exactly, I can just disregard it and say episodes 1 to 6 is the arc for me. And I don't mean that in a man-baby way or anything like that.
No, Stephen, it makes sense because it's Anakin Skywalker's story. Anakin Skywalker ceased to exist after Return of the Jedi, so it ended. Everything else after that point's fan fiction. It's an elaborate, expensive fan fiction, but it's fan fiction. How
many opportunities in the 30 years since Return of the Jedi would they have had to get Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill all back to reprise their roles? It would have been a 1 in a million chance if you were talking
Harrison
about this
didn't want to do it.
Exactly. You know,
so it was a one-off.
I think Mark Hamill was fed up with Star Wars at that point as well. Obviously he didn't know the upcoming decades it would have been mostly voice work he would have done, but I think at that point he was fed up as well. Carrie Fisher had her problems as well in her personal life. She was becoming more of a writer anyway. She was moving away from acting, you know, and to have those three people back, you know, was such a major thing. It was a massive announcement, because I never thought it would happen, and then they do that with them, but we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about it now anyway, John. The only thing they can do is move forward, and that's the one thing I do like about Favreau and Filoni. They're moving forward with the franchise. They're looking forward. They're starting to introduce new characters. They're introducing characters from animated series as well, bringing them into live action in a very clever way, I feel. A lot of people think Mandalorian Season 2 is a bit of a cameo fest at the moment. That doesn't bother me.
It's about to happen again. Final episode this Friday. Oh, looking like we're getting another potential cameo from a Jedi, maybe closing up Grogu's arc. Suggestions that, no clue, Stephen, suggestions it could be a couple of characters, some familiar faces from Rebels and stuff like that, or it could be Luke. I hope it's Luke. I don't think it will be though.
No,
they won't announce it. Sebastian Stan's too busy. He's doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not going to happen.
I think something would have been sort of in the rumour mill.
Well, Steve, you knew about Rosario Dawson. I'd completely missed that.
Yeah.
You informed me of it. That excited me greatly. Then it came a week or two later.
Yeah, so. It was the characters. She was just made for the character, and the character was made for her. But we're going to move on anyway, John, to our next topic. It's all